My name is Rachel Mauro, and I got my degree in clinical mental health counseling from Liberty University. It was really nice to be able to learn how to incorporate faith-based interventions with secular counseling, still learning all of the theories that everyone else does, but also getting that experience to bring in that spiritual side to counseling. That's really important. But being at this practice is just really wonderful to be able to speak the name of Christ and be able to connect with people on a different level and share just the hope of Christ and His healing in the room. I really love to work with women specifically. I did my internship at Safe Harbor and gained a lot of experience with domestic and sexual violence and really fell in love with working with those women. And so I'm really passionate about helping women specifically heal from those deep wounds, especially often childhood trauma, and the way that it impacts those core beliefs and views on self, and just helping them, find themselves in the Lord and renew that image of themselves. A first session with me is usually focused on just listening to the client, depending on how much they want to talk. If they are really talkative, I'll spend that session mostly listening, learning about them, what they like, what their previous experiences have been in counseling, and then what they're there for, of course. And if they're having a more difficult time opening up, then I will just start by having normal conversation to help them feel more comfortable and get to know me, and I can get to know them, and just being very welcoming to whatever they have to bring. I've always wanted to be in some kind of helping field. I started off with early childhood education and then wanted something more, and so I spent time just researching what I wanted to do, and I think that the Lord just called me into therapy, and I just kind of went with it. Self-care is obviously super important, and I make sure to leave my work at work. When I leave the building, I make sure to acknowledge what the day has been and then not take it home with me. I also spend a lot of time with friends and family and at my gym to release all of that and just let it go and give it to God, and then I can come back the next day. I would encourage them to just take that first step and see if it's for them. There's no commitment to it. You're not scary, we don't bite, and if they feel like it's not the right fit, of course I'll encourage them to find the right fit, or if they just aren't ready at that time. But just being open to just coming in, the vulnerability will come as it needs to, but just showing up and letting us do the rest. If someone doesn't want Christian counseling, I'm not going to force it on them. I fully believe that Christ shows up in the room, whether I say His name or not. And I want people to come as they are and not feel like they're going to get something pushed on them. And I know that God has put them in my office for a reason, and that I'm just going to do what I know how to do, and He can do the rest. And I always weightlifted in high school. I always took the weight classes, and I did sports, so it helped with my sports. And then as an adult, I was kind of just missing sports and doing something, and regular gyms were not cutting it for me, so I joined a CrossFit gym with my coworker, and I fell in love, and I love the heavy lifts. So borderline personality disorder can be a really big range and what that looks like, and it's so often based out of really significant trauma. And so I like to meet the person where they are in terms of their experience and what they're feeling, rather than the title of the diagnosis, because it can seem very scary. And I often find, especially with women, some of what looks like those borderline tendencies is really just a reaction to that trauma, and is pretty a normal reaction to that trauma, and what the brain does, and just helping them feel understood and seen, and help them also see that they're not just a diagnosis, and that they are a person who just needs some support and some healing, and that I don't look at them through that lens. I think my message for the community is look for the support that you need. If I'm that person, or anyone else here is that person, or somewhere else, we all deserve to have that support and someone that can listen, that can assist us in our healing journey. And if I'm that person, I would, love to assist in that and provide just a safe, comfortable space. I'm able to take Medicaid, TRICARE, and Aetna.